Hi everyone, we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and this is our day 2 vlog whenever we docked in the port of Marseille. We are currently on board MSC Fantasia.
So we'd had a pretty good night's sleep, the beds were pretty comfortable, and then we just went across the hallway to the top sill lounge to see what breakfast offerings they had here. And it was pretty much just a continental selection, so like your fruits, your cereals, your pastries, all that sort of thing. And then if you wanted to order tea and coffee, the guy was right over and assisting us with that.
Yeah. Our cabin is so handy because it's literally just across the corridor and you're in sort of to the concierge area, and then that's beside the top sill lounge. So we had a really enjoyable breakfast. It just really just set us up for the day to go and explore. So the night before, MSC do organise a shuttle service into Marseille, because where the cruise ship docks is about anything up to a 30-minute drive away. Now there is a free shuttle service that the port offers. You do have quite a bit of a dander to get off the ship to go to where that...
Yeah, because you nearly have to go to the port exit.
Yeah. And you'll see probably from the footage here that it's quite busy. And also on the day that we were in Marseille, Costa Toscana was also in port. So you basically had the guts of probably about like 6,000 or 7,000 passengers easy, trying to get into the Marseille for the day. So we opted for the MSC shuttle service. And the night before, you get a little leaflet about the service, and it has nearly like a printed ticket. It nearly looks like an old-fashioned boarding card for an airplane. And all you basically do is sign it and put the number of adults or the number of kids that are in your sort of party. And then you basically hand that in at the desk whenever you're about to get onto the shuttle bus. And then they organise then for that to be put onto your ship account. How did we get to the shuttle service? We sort of felt like celebrities.
Yeah, so we just went. Actually, we phoned our own butler, Rosa, and she said, go to the concierge desk and someone will be there to take you down. Across the hall for us, and we were taken straight down, deck 4, and off the ship, skipped the queue, skipped the desk, the butler even, handed in the ticket, and we were straight on the bus. So it was all very quick and fuss-free.
Yeah. And actually the gangway that they took us off was specific then for yacht club guests.
Yeah.
And before anybody thinks, oh, they're just being a nightmare, we actually phoned the butler to find out where we got off the ship in terms of what deck number and things like that. And it was actually her that said just to go to the concierge lounge and somebody would take us down. It wasn't that we were wanting someone to like hold our hand or anything. But we just didn't actually know where the gangway was that morning. So, as I said, the bus takes about 20 minutes to get in. Now, where the bus dropped us off actually was a different location to what we had been used to in Marseille. It basically dropped us off right outside the major cathedral, or the Marseille Cathedral, which is literally like a stone's throw from where the Mucem is, which is all about the civilisations of Europe. But it was actually quite a good location for exactly what we wanted to do today.
Yeah, because the museum as well is right next to the fort of Saint Jean. So we were bus stops right bang between that cathedral and the museums and the fort, which is all like to the exit of that big harbour marina area where all the little yachts and stuff are within the centre of Marseille.
The viewport, yeah. But we'll stick the map in here just so you can see exactly where it left us off. We had a very short walk to the museum, and we passed this lovely friendly bear that welcomed us to Marseille with open arms. And the museum itself was quite a beautiful sort of structure.
Well, we actually walked past like a cantilever structure on the left before we got to the museum, and then the museum has this like exoskeleton-y type like criss-cross pattern on it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Now, the reason why we wanted to go to the museum was, well, number one, we hadn't been before, and we'd the fort as well, we hadn't visited before. No. We'd always sort of seen that it was there, and the last time we took a bus tour, we'll insert a link here of the last time we were in Marseille. and we sort of passed these sort of places, but we hadn't actually visited them. So, plus as well as that, there was quite a bit of a wind. So there was, which meant then it felt cold whenever it was windy. So we wanted to sort of be inside. The cost of the museum entry, which also included your visit to the fort, was €11 each, and I feel it was money well spent because I really enjoyed the exhibits there.
Yeah, and there was a variety of exhibits within the museum. A few things I probably took away from it was they apparently used to use tortoise shells to make like little ornamental things like combs and clips for hair, which I thought was a bit odd. I don't think we'd get away with that now. And also I learned that a Nickelodeon is actually like an old style like movie theatre.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd heard that word before and I didn't know what it meant, and I'm glad I know now.
There was also this exhibit all about the circus, which Will isn't normally a fan of.
No, I'm not.
However, I am, and I would have always went to circuses as a kid. But it was actually interesting to sort of see like how the like old circuses even sort of started and things like that. And obviously they used to involve like animals quite heavily in circuses back then. And obviously over time that has been phased out. Yeah, but it was quite good the way it was all set up because you had like sort of rings, like circus rings in the exhibit.
That was probably the most interesting visually exhibit, that one.
And they were sort of showing an old Charlie Chaplin movie and things like that of him at the circus, and it was quite enjoyable. I quite liked that exhibit.
So once we had finished the exhibits within that main museum, we'd made it to the roof terrace, and at this level there is a restaurant, there was also toilets here, and there's lift access all the way throughout. So there's a large open area with seating, and it was actually quite nice up there. If it would have been a little less cold, it was nice and bright. But at this point then you can walk across a bridge, a walkway, over to the Fort St. Jean. So that's what we decided to do.
Yeah, there's beautiful views here of the cruise port and the Marseille Cathedral. We even decided to walk up one of the towers.
Once we get into the fort,
yeah. Now there is an exhibit there at the fort as well in one of the buildings, and the tower that we went up, it is quite a small spiral staircase. So I would just sort of be mindful that if you struggle with the stairs, there is quite a few to climb.
And there's nowhere that they note how many steps it is, like they would in like the London Underground or something. So.
Yeah. But we climbed the steps anyway to get another couple of good views in, and the views up there were really worth it.
And luckily as well, it opened up into this big area. It wasn't like a little tight ring around the tower, because to be fair, I don't think either of us had looked up the tower before we decided to go up.
No.
So we didn't really know. But yeah, if you went up one of the towers, you had great views then of like out of the harbour, up to the Basilica, then what's the place called with all the yachts? Johnny had said it earlier.
The Viewport.
The Viewport. Yeah. So and then actually as well back to the cruise port, as Johnny had said.
Yeah, the fort itself is a bit of a labyrinth. There's not really a like a marked sort of way.
Designated route. No.
Yeah. But it was fun just sort of like exploring, like little, what's up this way? Oh no, nothing much, or, here's another nice view, or, but it was a nice morning just to pass the time and just sort of have a wee mitch around.
So at this stage, we took the bridge back to the main museum that we had come in originally, and we took the short walk back past the teddy bear to the bus. And luckily for us, it was right there. We got straight on. And it did wait for a bit. There seemed to be like a bit of a commotion going on with a car in front, but we were away within 5 minutes, and then we were back on the ship.
Yeah. And again, because we're in Yacht Club, whenever we got to the cruise terminal, you'll see basically a member of staff with like a paddle that says Yacht Club on it. You make yourself known to them. They then sort of take you past the lines for security, and then at the other side of the security, the like metal detectors and things like that, he has a colleague that he sort of waves to, and then he obviously then brought us back in onto the ship, and put us back into the lifts, and then we were straight up then into Yacht Club again.
So we decided to go to the one bar to see what offerings there was for lunch. Now, it was very cold up here. It was quite windy. And I actually wanted something. I was fancying the pasta, but the day before, I think they had it in veal sauce, and this day they had it in like a seafood sauce, which I didn't really fancy. So I just asked, was there any like tomato pasta, any arrabbiata, something just red? And actually then she went and got it. Now, I did have to wait a fair bit.
You waited about
but she
20
did
minutes,
get
but
it.
it was freshly made
Yeah.
for you. You know?
So that was quite cool that I was just able to do that. But I literally could not wait to get away from that top level and get inside again because it was so cold.
It was quite windy. I had a bit of a salad to begin with, and then I had chicken Milano, which was like a breaded sort of chicken fillet, and I had it with some fries actually because the day before we had the fries with our burgers, and the tomato ketchup was really nice. So I wanted more fresh fries. And again, actually, there isn't fries sitting out in the little buffet, so they're all made fresh to order, which is quite impressive because again, other times that we've been on cruises and you go to any sort of a buffet, there's fries sitting and they're half freezing by the time you actually get them to your plate and get sitting down. So it was really nice that they were actually made fresh for you.
So we went back to the cabin late in the afternoon just for some relaxing time. I actually went to bed. I always like a little nap in the afternoon. It just sets me up. And I think you just lie on the sofa here.
Yeah, I chilled on the sofa and caught up on a few YouTube comments and stuff like that. And I actually kept. It was quite cold to sit out in the balcony. But I had the balcony door slightly open because I do like to sort of hear out the outside. So yeah, and then obviously we then sailed away from Marseille at tea time.
Yeah, and I sort of woke up and we were sailing away, and I just had a look at the last little parting views of Marseille before we made our way to dinner.
Yeah, and we really enjoy Marseille. Like this is our third time.
I think it's third time. Yeah.
Yeah. We do like it. There's always something that you would like, because again, like we've been watching, like we always watch YouTube videos as well, before we come on holidays too, just to really sort of get ideas of what other people do whenever they come to these ports. So there is still another few bits that we want to sort of tick off, and I think for us now, because we enjoy our cruises so much, we realise that we're not going to the port for one day and one day only. Do you know what I mean? We realise that we probably will revisit these places. So I think the first time we came on a cruise, we literally went out first thing in the morning and we're literally on an excursion or away doing something ourselves and not back to the ship until near tea time, which then meant that we probably could have done with another holiday after our cruise because we were so tired. So I think, that is just something to remember now, is that if you do enjoy cruising, don't try and fit everything in one port in one day, because you'll hopefully have the chance to revisit and experience what else the ports have in future.
Definitely.
So tonight we went to L'Etoile, which is the restaurant for Yacht Club members, and we managed to find our own way there. We actually went outside and walked across the
Well, we
deck.
did get slightly lost.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't find a door to get back in.
Yeah.
So it sort of took us a wee bit longer. But yeah, we could have just walked through the ship, but we wanted a bit of air. So for tonight's dinner, here is a look at the menu. Why not tell us in the comments what you would choose? Oh, yes. Can I get a piece of focaccia? Can I get one of these as well?
Yeah, so for starters, you had the creamy cauliflower.
I had the creamy cauliflower soup, but I also had food envy.
Yes, so there was Chinese dumplings on the menu, and the choices were vegetarian, chicken, and fish. So I specifically asked for just the vegetarian chicken ones because I wouldn't have been a fan of the fish ones, and it was provided. So
Yeah, I didn't want to take the risk of eating a sort of fishy dumpling, so that's why I opted for the soup, but I did have food envy whenever I saw yours.
it was really good.
For me, and then I basically had a rack of lamb, which had this sort of pistachio coating on it. It was really nice. It came with a tiny little skip, like the cutest little skip of mashed potato ever. But the meat was really nice.
So I had the grilled veg tortillas with guacamole and a red bean paste, and it was all really, really good, really tasty.
So for dessert, I had the tarte tatin, and it was really nice.
I just had the pistachio ice cream, which was nutty and fresh.
So after our meal, we headed then to the theatre, of which I cannot pronounce the name of, but we'll insert the name on the screen. And tonight's show was basically called Live From. And when we saw it in the little programme, we sort of thought, is this like a misprint? Live from what? You know? But basically, Live From basically was a show of quite a variety. So it had the singers, it had the dancers, it had some of the guest entertainers and things like that, like the flamenco dancers from the previous night. And it really was a bit of a variety.
Yeah, so in terms of what we saw, there was a bowl plate spinner. Now, he was really talented, that guy. The next sort of act, so it was like musical interludes to all of these. Next act was a guy on a ladder.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Not a window cleaner, by the way.
No.
Sort of like somebody doing like, you know, stunts and like acrobatic sort of things.
Then there was a pair of aerial artists.
Yeah.
Now, they were amongst the best that I've seen. And the great thing about this theatre is because when you're sitting right at the front, you're on deck 5, but when you're on the balcony, it's deck 7. It has so much, it has 3 floors of height.
Yeah.
So it really gives the aerial artists height, literal height. So it allows them to really show off and that.
And no safety nets, no cables attached to them or anything.
And then at points, it was literally just one arm holding another. Yeah. And that was it. It's just... Yeah, so they're definitely high risk and high reward with those routines. And then there was the professional dancers as well. So a real variety show.
So, which was a bit strange for us, at the end of the show, the singers then performed, you know, that song, Time to Say Goodbye. And at that point then, some of the crew from different departments then came in to the theatre and sort of onto the stage. And I guess it was because then the next day we were docking in the port of Genoa, and a lot of people obviously then were due to get off the ship in Genoa. So that is something that's different about MSC Cruises. You'll find that it will pick up and drop off in a lot of different ports on your itinerary, which is a bit strange, you know. We're used to it. I think it probably would like annoy people because it's sort of, you know, for some people you're not going to see the same faces all the time or the same people all the time. As well as that, each day there is a muster, and you'll hear like the alarm signal and things like that. So I guess for some people that would annoy them. For us, we don't mind. But it was really strange at the end of the show because obviously this was only our second night, but yet we were singing Time to Say Goodbye. We're like, my goodness, they're kicking us off tomorrow. But a really great show. And after the show then we decided then to head to the La Belle Bar, which is in the Atrium area, up on deck 6.
So sort of right in the middle level. Yeah.
And down on deck 5, there was kind of like a party band, and they were singing quite a lot of Spanish tunes. We guess they're kind of like the party kind of...
Party ones, yeah.
You know, because of the kind of songs get everybody onto the dance floor, get everybody singing and dancing.
Plus everybody seems to know the words that speak the language of the song.
Yeah, we just love the music, but we don't
really
know what it's called, what the song's called, what the language is, or what the words actually are or mean. But they're kind of the same sort of songs we always know to hear on an MSC cruise in the Mediterranean. But we love that, so we do. That's what we like about MSC.
So yeah, the atmosphere was just really good at this little bar, and we had really good service there. The other thing that MSC do is they always ask you if you want a snack at the bar, and it's usually just plain crisps, and I just really like that. I think it's a really nice touch. Just to sort of keep you at that bar, I guess. It's good.
And that's something like that I find really strange, because MSC is seen as a very affordable or cheap option for cruising, and yet they're giving you that at the bar as an added extra for free. Whereas on other cruise lines, you know, you're paying like maybe £1.50, £2 for a bag of crisps at the bar, and you have to ask for them. And that is just something that there was an MSC cruise we did before, and we actually asked, oh, was there any crisps available? And they're like, oh yeah, and they went and got us some. But so definitely, if you're not offered, do ask, because they will
Yeah,
provide.
they have them. Yeah. So after this, we decided to go up to the top sail lounge just for that one drink before bed.
Yeah, I think the good thing about being in Yacht Club that we have found is that it is nice to go to that lounge. I know this is our day 2 vlog, but you know, whenever you're out and about in the ship and it's busy and it's it's nice to come back into like your own little retreat, and have that little nightcap, you know, just to sort of like on the wind down. So yeah, I had a gin, just to on the wind down.
So I was feeling a little bit peckish, and I had seen on the room service menu that there was what I would call nachos, but they called them tortilla chips with Tex-Mex. So I went to the concierge. I said, could I get this? And they basically had it in the room. Actually, no, that's a lie. So I ordered it, and then by the time we got back to the room, the guy came knocking, and he had the tortilla chips. And oh my goodness, the salsa with these tortilla chips was incredible. It was so good.
And they were freshly made.
Yeah, like fried pieces of tortilla bread. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a treat, I think.
Yeah. You can order room service by ringing your butler, but for us, because we were sitting in the top sail lounge, literally concierge, it's easier to...
Is on the way back to our room.
To ring the butler, so, so this probably is more handier for us to do that, really. But, as Will says, after our late night snack, it was time for bed.
Yeah, and the nice thing about MSC is that your butler will leave in like a selection of 4 little treats. They'll all be the same kind. So like there's gummies, there's a nougat, or like a chocolate with a nut in it. And they also leave an individual chocolate and a bottle of water at each side of the bed, which is a really nice touch.
So folks, this has been our day 2 vlog. If you've enjoyed it, please think about giving us a like and also subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to be alerted the next time we post a new video. Thanks for watching.
Bye.